Hey, good evening, Trading Addicts. This is Jeff Kohler, aka The Option Addict, from over at www.tradingaddicts.com. Welcome to the weekly watch list. Getting a late start tonight because we've been making a lot of changes to the website, which you'll see tonight. The new site is up, minus the homepage, which will probably launch tomorrow. Not only that, but also been gearing up for tomorrow's start of the all-day stock and options day trading room live. So aside from that, we've also got some good news elsewhere in the world that Osama bin Laden has been eliminated. Equities are trading significantly higher tonight. Dow up triple digits, S&Ps, we're looking at futures right now at 1370, Russell up, they're up across the board. We talked about this a little bit on Friday, and we said, okay, first of the month, being what it is, we'll probably see equities trade higher. I was hoping it would be a pretty big move, but this announcement, this news, has obviously got it trading a lot higher than what I had anticipated. So the good news is, market opens up tomorrow, and we are going to make a boatload of money. The bad news is that this move here is going to put that McClellan into some pretty overbought territory. That's the one thing that we talked about that would set up, is if we got a big enough rally come Monday morning, then it's possible we might see that fade a little bit just due to the extreme nature, the extreme overbought conditions, just based on McClellan. We'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow morning. So I'll probably look to take a few positions off, book some gains. But at the same time, I don't want to necessarily short stocks here. We'll see what happens after the open, but I definitely want to hedge into such a big move, for any remaining long positions. We'll take quite a bit off, but let's probably get hedged here now that we're getting such an extreme reading. But I will also spend some time here to talk about some other setups that I want to be watching this week. Now, remember, with prices gapping up as much as they will in the morning, you don't want to run out there and start chasing stocks, especially because we could be putting in a relative high before prices start to cool off a little bit. Still like the idea of trading individual stocks as opposed to trying to time the market here. So we'll do what we do best, and that is pick individual setups out, from the list of stocks out there. I got quite a bit here, so let's just run through them. We'll start with Deere, DE. All coiled up all nice and pretty here, looking for a break of this range to new relative highs. With that trade that we had in CAT, I think Deere should be the next to go. I think that looks good. The refiners look great, but in particular, I love this price action here in Tesoro. It looks really, really good. While a lot of refiners have been pretty stretched and have moved quite a bit, I love this coiling action here in TSO. It looks beautiful. PWAV, we talked about this. Now, I've already got a long position, just in full disclosure, but looking for a break of this little consolidation pattern, looking for a run up to at least the highs here, seems pretty easy for this stock. So I think you got to look for a long, especially with that volume that we saw on Friday. SYMX, also want to buy that thing first thing in the open if it trades up just a little bit, and I think we want to take that at least for a day trade. That stock can pop 15-20%, no problem. I talked myself out of this long here on Friday, but I want to be watching this here tomorrow. LNG, this consolidation pattern, good story here. If this, if the short's in the stock, which, the float is over 20% short, if they start to cover here a little bit, we'll get some pretty active movement to the upside. So watch that one very, very carefully. Jade, Jade. I like the look of this one here too. Just another small banger, looking for a move away from all these moving averages all coiled up here together. The stock perks a little bit. I think it pops for a pretty big amount. Also think you got to be watching QTM here. As a disclaimer, again, I'm long. I actually bought a little bit more on Friday, but this thing looks good to run to about 350 at least. We'll look at BSDM. I probably got to zoom out here just a little bit on this stock. Yeah, there it is. Looking for a pop away from this. Again, we're coiled up here between the 200-day, the 50-day, the 20-day, all just kind of coiled up here. Looking for a break away from that. HMIN, I think that one looks good here to run to about 48. If the rare earths start coming back into play, I think you got to be watching this AVL, which is now down at the lower end of this consolidation range. That one looks really good to me. Chipotle putting in a little bit of bottom in terms of the way this trend is set up, and we took a little bit of time to look at the 5-day chart. with the Trading Addicts here on Friday, and it's built a really good base. So if it perks up just a little bit, if it doesn't jump too much, I think you want to buy this a little low, as I think she ought to run back up at least towards relative highs, at least up towards 275, 280. So I think that one looks pretty good. OVTI looks real strong here. Now that one shouldn't open up too much, so I think the key thing is to jump on this one early, hopefully around 34, but when it breaks away from that, it ought to run to 37, 38. The ags look great. The potashes. There's only 3 that I like. If you're going to trade the ag stocks, you got to go with potash. You got to go with AGU, which looks really, really good here, or CF, which looks the best. CF is already off of its low here and ought to be the first one to break out. So watch the ag stocks. Riverbed's another favorite setup of mine here. You can see prices are all coiled up right through here. Should be a pretty nice break tomorrow. Again, I've got some calls, so we'll probably see a nice little bump in those tomorrow. CIEN looks pretty good. Stretch this out just a little bit. We should be able to see a break of the highs come tomorrow into strength. And 2 more. SINA. Beautiful little buy the dip setup. I know some of our trading addicts already took this here on Friday, but that should, if it doesn't open up too far away from these prices, should be a pretty good little dip buy here. And then last but not least, which got away from me a little bit on Friday, I didn't trade this, but it's Patriot Coal. We had been looking at this consolidation over the last 2 months or so, and if prices perk up just a little bit, that might be a little breakout to buy, to swing trade through. So that's the list of my setups here today, guys. Really, really good news coming into tomorrow. Existing positions will lighten up quite a bit off the open. I'm not opposed to swing trading a couple of entries here, but I just don't want to load the boat, into such a big move. Let's plan for a couple day trades early on, maybe initiate a call option position or 2, but at the same time, come the end of the day, if we see a really, really strong rally off of this, then I want to get hedged into that strength. So I'll go ahead and end it here, guys. Thanks as always for tuning in. This has been the Option Addict. That's been my watch list. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic week.